Busy weekend, been a busy month, been a busy week. We're just busy creating content, film study, interviews, getting ready for the fights tomorrow. We have two cards. Brisbane, Australia, which I'm slowly having to kind of peek into those fights. I know Bet365 is offering some betting options on the Aussie fights. If you guys can, take Callum by stoppage. Callum by stoppage, I think at $1.21, and take Mason on the money line. So that's in Australia, but I'll get into that a little bit more in depth as this goes on. You guys tap in. Let me know. Everybody checking in. Make sure you like this video. If you haven't subscribed, do that. Also, join the insider group. That gives you access to the Discord. The Discord is growing day by day. It's getting wild in there in a good way. We got the Parlay Discord. We got the Boxing Discord. We got the MMA Discord. We have UFC fights this weekend as well at the Apex. So we're going to talk about that Thursday. So save your MMA and UFC questions until after the Japanese card, if you will. I just uploaded my breakdown, prediction, and analysis of Kenshiro versus Sandoval. So Kenshiro versus Sandoval, good fight. Guys, these are tough fights, mate. These 3 world title fights, I don't know any better. I mean, I got people reaching out to me from all angles. Email, text, voice memo, from Dublin, from America, from London, from Australia. Like, who do you like here? Who do you like here? Who do you like here? What are the method of victory here? What's the upset? And, mate, this is one of those, it seems like one of those nights where we're all just going to be sitting back and, leaning on, hopefully the chips fall as they may. Now, I have spoken to a couple people. They are sort of falling in love with some of the odds makers. There's some underdogs with some pretty wild odds right now at the moment. I'm obviously talking about the champion Antonio Vargas at almost a 4-1 underdog. You got Sandoval, the 26-year-old, taking on the 33-year-old pound-for-pound fighter. He's a $4.80 underdog. And then you also have Eric Rosa, storied amateur career, undefeated, multi-level, under 10 fights, both of these guys. But, he's fighting Takami, who's tough. And this is a big fight. And Rosa is a 5-1 dog. So I know some guys who are peppering a little bit of, sprinkle on the dogs. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I posted my money line parlay already. I posted it in our Discord. It's just a 3-leg parlay. And I think I could see a path to victory. I could see a path to victory for Rosa, for Vargas, and for Sandoval. But do I think those guys are going to win? I don't think so. I think they're all going to be really tough fights. It's even getting kind of hard to predict, a method of victory, because I talked to one guy, they like so-and-so by stoppage, but, I like a couple of these fights to go the distance. And if you look at the odds that Vegas is giving us, even will the fight go the distance is a 50-50. Even will the fight be stopped, or will said fighter win by decision? Coin flip. So it's pretty interesting. I have a separate parlay. I do have a separate parlay with a couple of myself hedging. So for instance, on my money line parlay, it's about $1.91. 100 gets you your money back plus 91 bucks. And that is the favorites on a 3-legger: Takami, Higa, and Kenshiro. But then I also have a separate parlay in which, because I'm a fan of Antonio Vargas, so the wild thing about this is, in my prediction on my money line parlay, I have Higa that I picked. I told you guys Higa is going to win, but I'm going to be watching that fight cheering for Antonio Vargas. It sounds insane, but I have to give you my prediction on what I think is going to happen. I think that Higa's style, it's almost like, it's hard for me to create a better analogy for this in terms of the matchup, Higa versus Vargas, but it's almost like, let's say this is a terrible analogy. This is just on the spot. It's not like I sat with this. So this is in my head. Imagine if you take a baked potato or imagine if you take a big potato, and you boiled it, and the water is boiling, right? And that potato is seething with steam and heat, and to the bare hand, it's going to blister your hand. But if you put a glove on, you can catch it. It's almost like that potato that's seething, I think that is the style and pressure that Higa is going to be bringing into the fight, and I just don't think that Vargas is going to be able to handle that. That's kind of like what I'm leaning on. I just think that, like, with the pressure, the volume, the front foot style, how Higa throws these unorthodox flurries with his head on your chest, that's where I'm going on. So, but I'm going to be watching the fight, cheering for Vargas. Now, I have hedged my bet on that fight alone. I've hedged my bet on Antonio Vargas versus Higa. There's a prop bet on that. So on a separate parlay, will the fight go the distance? Will the fight go the distance? I think somebody gets stopped. I do. I think somebody gets stopped. And so I could then watch the fight in kind of with neutral eyes, obviously for the sake of my ego and picking Higa to win, and we could then come back and read the comments on my Stats Don't Lie video, and everybody says I was right. But if I could also take this bet, will the fight go the distance? No, at $1.72. And if Vargas wins by stoppage, which I think he could as well, I would still win and I'd still be happy. So I'm leaning on that. My book isn't giving me knockdown props yet. So until I get a knockdown prop, the only prop I like at the moment is will the fight go the distance, yes or no? And so that's one. And then let's go to another fight. I uploaded just now Kenshiro versus Sandoval. Now, I sat with that one for a while too because you're hearing a lot of chatter, a lot of chatter. Even though Kenshiro, top 10 pound for pound guy, he is 33 years old. Sandoval's 26 years old. I just did this tape. I just uploaded this video. You can watch my breakdown. You can watch my prediction. I initially was leaning on the younger guy. I was initially thinking Sandoval could do this. He could show up in Japan and upset a pound for pound guy. But the more tape I was watching, the little things about Sandoval, the little things about both guys, they both get hit a lot. Both use their head as their defense. But when you really break down the technique and the approach, I think Sandoval is going to be a level below Teraji. When there's levels to this game. I think it's the level when I think about Antonio Vargas and Higa, I actually like Vargas better as the boxer. So from that, even though I'm picking Higa, I just don't like Vargas's durability. I know the knockout happened in 2019, but I've watched him get buzzed a few different times. I've watched him get dropped a few different times. And that style for me, even though I think Vargas is a probably better boxer, when I'm thinking about Sandoval and Teraji, I just don't think Sandoval is quite at that level Teraji is at. So I'm waiting for a knockdown prop on that as well. I'm actually kind of leaning towards a decision on Teraji. I'm taking Teraji on the money line. I have him beating Sandoval. But both guys are super tough. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Sandoval's never been stopped. He's lost before. Never been stopped. Teraji's been stopped once, but he redeemed that. He lost to a guy in the 10th and then fought him again and then stopped him in the 3rd. Now, will the fight go the distance? Teraji, Sandoval. I think it will. So that's another prop I've been eyeing. $1.82. 100 gets your money back plus 82 bucks. I like that prop bet. Now, I'm going to solidify those prop bets tomorrow. Yeah, random guy perspective. Teraji, yeah, I really like that prop bet right now. I'm still waiting on knockdown props. Goat, are you getting any knockdown props? And boys, if you're in the Discord and you're getting knockdown props, put it in the Discord for me. What's up? Yeah, Mama, for sure. Daniel Vega, give me about 5 more minutes and I'll get to Pro Gray and JoJo. Give me about 5 more minutes because I want to talk about Eric Rosa real quick. So Mini Pac-Man. It's crazy to call yourself Mini Pac-Man when Pac-Man's mini. But I mean, I guess we can't control our own gene because Manny's small. You know what I mean? But I think Rosa's 5'2", and he grew up idolizing him. So it's kind of a homage to obviously one of the generation's greats. But Eric Rosa is a $6.25 dog. All right, go. Yeah, hopefully we wake up with those knockdown props. I think they'll give us knockdown props when we wake up. So Rosa $6.25, Takami $1.14. I mean, I don't know if Yusuke Takami is Yusuke Takami, is he underrated? Because all the tape I've been watching on these guys, you know, Rosa's he's coming up a bit. You know, he's a smaller dude. Neither guy has a lot of pro fights, but when you look at the amateur record, you know, Rosa's the amateur background. Smaller guy moving up. I think Takami, what's up, Carlos? No, Rosa's a good boxer. So I like that fight to go the distance as well. So if you think that Rosa can't win a decision against Takami and you don't want the $1.14 money line for Takami, I like will the fight go the distance as well. I think that fight goes the distance, mate. And that's at $1.90 each way. So all three of the world title fights are literally, if you're looking for will the fight go the distance or not, they're all at about $1.90 even money. I actually like, I mean, what's Rosa by? I'm not picking Rosa to win, but if you want some dogs to be barking, man, Rosa by decision is $8.75. You know what I mean? He could box though, PJ. Rosa's a smooth operator in there. I mean, he's not that, I don't know if he's on the level though. So I think he's going to be tough and durable. Takami, you know, these Japanese fighters, man, they have a sort of energy to them in how their style, a Japanese fight style. There's a pace that they put on you. They're always like, they might not be sitting down on every punch. Well, Higa is. Dago Higa sits down on every punch when you watch that guy. That's Vargas's opponent. Dude, anybody but Higa, I think I would have taken Vargas. It's just that matchup to me. Yeah, Andy. Random guy. Yeah, I'm waiting. Just that stylistic matchups matter so much in boxing. Higa got stopped one time. He hasn't won a fight since 2023. He's coming off a draw. He's coming off a close loss. But the thing about him is, when Higa struggles, he struggled with southpaws before. If you want to really nitpick and kind of play the statistics, you look at his 2 losses. 2 of them were from southpaws. They were both kind of back foot fighters. They were both guys who were kind of like picking their spots and countering and using Higa's aggression and that sort of unorthodox offensive onslaught against him. But that's not how Vargas fights. That's not how Vargas fights. What's up, Skeezy in the house? Perth represent. Perth in the house. Western Australia, what's up? So yeah, that's my take right now, guys. I think I'm like a lot of you though. I'm waiting to wake up in the morning with some knockdown props. Carlos, I didn't know you had bet on Carrington by decision. Yeah. Vargas, I put that up in the Discord. So Carlos, is your name in the Discord the same as your name here? Because I got your message on YouTube, but I'm still trying to figure out how to use our Discord and check out my direct messages there, because I couldn't find a Carlos Vargas in our Discord. Guys, join our Discord. Johnny, you do that from our YouTube channel. Johnny Says Boxing. What's my man Skeezy saying? Turn $100 bonus 7. That's what I'm talking about, mate. I'm thinking of rolling the entire thing over. Skeezy, before you roll that over, Skeezy, do you have any bills to pay? This is a great learning point. Skeezy turned a $100 bonus bet into $700. He says, should I roll it over or am I stupid? Now, $700, mate. Did you pay your car bill? Did you pay your electric bill? Do you live on your own? Do you have rent? I would say, like, this is the way you got to look at it, because $700 could pay some bills out here. You know what I'm saying? It's just up to you. I don't know what your situation is. So you're going to Japan in 2 weeks. Here's what I would do. I would take $350 out, because I've been to Japan multiple times. Japan's cheap. I would go, you got $700. I'd put $500 in the bank and play with the $200. So take $500 out, put it in the bank, keep the $200 in. You got the Japanese card tomorrow. You got Australia tomorrow. And we got the Golden Boy card on the weekend. because, you know, 500 bucks is a nice little, you know, nice little pocket change for Japan. That'll get you around. And even if you like even if you double 700 into 1400, that's good too. But if you lose it, I think the $500 value to put in your bank account now to just keep in Japan is, I mean, that's what I would do. But I'm an old head. Some of the boys are saying roll it over. Nah, man, you guys could. I'm gonna always give the advice that I would give myself. You know what I'm saying? There you go, stash and roll 100 back. That's what boxing fan. That's what I'm talking about. I ain't building parlays no more without Carlos Vargas in the house. Yeah, Carlos. I mean, it could have gone either way. I was always saying Polanco by decision. How cheap are the girls in Japan? Because they're really cheap in the Philippines. Oh my God, mate. Wrong live stream, bro. How cheap? You don't want cheap girls, dude. Get a gram and brass having to live recklessly. Nah, don't listen to these boys. You guys are wild. Everybody's like, when you're younger, you're like, live recklessly. And then you wake up and you're 50 and your liver's fucked and your joints hurt and you're overweight and obese. Your dick doesn't work. You don't have people around you that love you. And you use that advice when you were younger, thinking that you were live your best life. No, that's stupid advice, mate. I need Gardner to win by decision. Gardner, we already won, bro. Salvador, we already hit. Gardner didn't win. Oh, you picked him by decision. Oh, God. Oh, that's heartbreaking. The ref screwed you. I took Gardner on the money line. Oh, Salvador Pineda that's a tough one to read. Sal Pineda goes, I needed Gardner to win a decision to make $6,800 on a $10 bet. Yeah, sometimes we get fancy, you know. Yeah, in my breakdown, I had Gardner beating Bellotti. It was interesting. A lot of you boys were picking Bellotti, and I just didn't see it. I told you guys in my breakdown video, when you look at these domestic British level matchups, I've been doing really good with the Brits as well, except at heavyweight. But yeah, so Bellotti versus Gardner reminded me of Maxie Hughes versus Archie Sharp. It reminded me of Nathaniel Collins versus Lee McGregor. So I picked Hooney and we lost that Hooney fight, but we were on our way until we weren't. And then some domestic level cruiserweights on the undercard of Ben versus Eubank I missed. But other than that, I've been hitting the main events in the UK pretty well. I just didn't see what people were jumping on Bellotti. Maybe you guys were like excited about the odds, but this is how Vegas is Vegas. These odds sometimes don't always correlate with what's really happening in the fight. Skeezy. So yeah, you have the fights in Japan and the fights in Australia. So guys, if you are getting odds to bet in Australia, take Mason on the money line and take Connor by stoppage. It's like, I think it's about $1.90. Yeah, Floyd Mason over John Parker. So yeah, Rose's odds are crazy right now. I couldn't believe it. Come on, mate. We told you Bellotti was gonna. Dude, you gotta understand. People were to put a bookend on Bellotti versus Gardner. I mean, Gardner in the breakdown, this guy they've been writing about Ryan Gardner in his area since he was a teenager. This dude didn't come out of nowhere. He kind of lost some of that momentum in his early 20s because he got pulled over with some cocaine, some Cocas Blanco, and missed a year. The British Board of Boxing suspended him for a year. That was a couple years back. And he's done nothing but win every fight. He was going into that fight undefeated. And they build cards around him for a reason. He's one of these guys that isn't super vocal from a marketing side from his own person. But, I mean, the football, you know, the football clubs love him. He has a huge section, right? So if you break down, you know, also the energy he fights with, he was the younger guy, all that stuff played in the factor. Like that wasn't even really like a stressful fight to bet heavy on Ryan Gardner. I didn't understand a lot of people taking Bilotti in that. Any parlay for the fights in Japan? Wilmer, yeah. So Wilmer, right now, my money line parlay for the fights in Japan are just the 3 favorites. I posted it in our Discord already. Kenshiro, Vargas, and Takami. Good luck, landslide, my man. Safe or not safe? Ooh, that over is tasty. Safe or not safe? Nothing's safe these days, brother. Yeah, the ref screws you. Nothing's safe these days. So back, let me some of the boys in Australia, and if you guys are getting the Aussie card, I already looked at all, like I'm looking at the whole card, right? The Australian card, there's going to be 6, 7 fights. Even if you get to bet on all 7, don't. Like I said, bet on Floyd Mason on the money line, and then take Callum Peters by stoppage, and then do that separately. Let that come in. Or you could build a parlay together. I generally don't like piecing things together, but some of you boys in the Discord, I mean, some of you guys had a parlay dating back to like Chris Eubank Jr. beating Conor Benn like in April or however long ago that was, and all you needed was the main event this past weekend to come through, and you hit, and it did, and it was like you needed Clarissa Shields or something. I was like, mate, my book down here in Australia doesn't even allow me to look that far in the future to even build parlays with that much time in between. But maybe that's why I don't do it. But some of you boys do, and you hit with it. So, yeah, Japanese, my money line parlay on the Japanese card, I put it up in the Discord. A couple method of victories. I could see... like Teraji versus Sandoval. I'm waiting to see a knockdown prop. I'm doing a live tomorrow. Look, this card doesn't happen until tomorrow night. So a little over 24 hours away. I'm going to be doing a live super early on my channel. And then I'm going on Gary from 3D Boxing. I'm going on his live stream with TJ from Chilltown. And we're going to talk about the Japanese card. If I had to pick one of the 3 world title fights to not go the distance, I think it's Vargas versus Higa. But I'm still waiting on, I love a knockdown prop in Vargas versus Higa. I love knockdown props in all these fights. I'm just not getting them right now. And I'm not going to be baited by the big underdog odds. So we'll see what happens. We could turn the page. How are you guys looking at Jojo Diaz versus Rougarou? Anybody? I know somebody asked about that. Jojo versus Rougarou. Golden Boy card. Or no, you were asking about Oscar. Were you asking about Duarte and Kenneth Sims or Jojo versus Rougarou? My brain's all, yeah. Regis is gonna go belt to ass. I mean, come on, dude. It's kind of like scratching my head a bit on why that fight's taking place. Thoughts on Duarte and Sims? Right now, I'm leaning on Kenneth Sims, man. I got to be honest with you. People are sleeping on Kenny Sims Jr., man. So right now, I like what I've seen from Duarte since the Garcia fight, but I don't know if I like what I've seen from the Garcia fight because I've just seen him more. How much of that for me is recency bias, what he looked like? But Kenneth Sims Jr. is a really, really high-level boxer. That's what I mean. So when you look at both of them, and I think sometimes people could get guilty of this when you're trying to pick a winner, is people sometimes think that boxing is a bodybuilding contest. You know what I mean? You look at Duarte with the shirt off, you know, and you see him like, you know, he's kind of imposing. That dude's definitely going to win sort of thing. But, dude, this is a boxing match. Sims Jr. could box. So I'm going to get into that. I'm uploading my prediction Thursday. Yeah, I agree. The over mid-rounds. Well, Duarte makes me nervous. You know what I'm saying? I mean, unless you're a diehard Oscar Duarte fan or a diehard Kenneth Sims Jr. fan, the fight itself to bet on should make you nervous. So if you're really, like if you're a huge gambler, like some of the boys on our channel who are professional bettors, they're not going to bet on that fight. You know what I'm saying? So it's not one of those fights that you kind of like, ooh, Kenneth Sims Jr., Oscar Duarte, let me put 20 G's on this fight. It's one of those. It's going to be fun to break down, though, because you have different styles, different skill sets. You have a guy in Duarte that people almost threw away, and now he's the favorite. Nova versus Raymond 416. Mate, I'm an Abraham. I love that fight. Yep, you got to mention RGBA when you're talking about Duarte, adding the body rips to his game as well. Chicago Aussie's got a chip on. The Shy. People are sleeping on Kenneth. Daniel Vega fought him. Nice, man. I sometimes forget. We have boxers, pros, amateurs. You think Duarte could stop Kenneth Sims Jr. late? I don't, man. Yeah, how do you see Duarte stopping him late? You think he's just going to wear him down? Let me sit with it. Like I said, I'm still not finished with my film study on that fight. I'll be uploading that fight tomorrow. I got probably 2 more hours. I need to watch. I just wish we really haven't seen too much of Sims Jr. as of late. And what Salvador says here, he says it doesn't let his hands go. I don't know how much of that, though, is like a defensive responsibility or hesitate. I don't think it's a hesitation because he doesn't want to get cracked. I'm not sure. I have to look into that. Duarte is a lock. What about Duarte makes you like him so much, History Vault? You like the move to Robert Garcia? He has looked good as of late. He is trend. I think if you're looking at a guy, which one is trending in a specific direction, Duarte, I mean, it's pretty. Like mentally for me too, watching Duarte bounce back from that loss to Ryan Garcia, very proud guy too. Duarte, don't get it twisted, and this isn't supposed to sound weird, but not every fighter goes into every fight thinking they're going to win. I'm not going to say they think they're going to lose, but Oscar Duarte going into the Ryan Garcia fight thought he was going to win. So for him to lose in the way he lost, and then how he rebounded and has bounced back from that, it says a lot about him here. And just look at how he's always in shape. He looks to me like he lives that samurai lifestyle, like he's married to the game. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough. And what in what version of Kenneth Smith, what version of Kenny Sims Jr. are we thinking beats Duarte too? You know what I mean? What version? Are we talking the version we just saw, or overall Sims Jr. just has a better game? No, I'm not. I don't have Rosa beating. No, I don't have Rosa beating Takami. Duarte going out there swinging hands at the time. He's going to catch Sims easily. Random guy perspective. That's my point, brother. That's exactly what I mean. So these conversations, whichever way you're leaning, if you're leaning towards Sims, read random guy perspective. You have to think that way as well. You have to think, well, Duarte's a tough out. Way better. Way better. They think they have a potential world champion in Duarte, don't they? The only way Sims beats Duarte is if the cards were filled out beforehand. Okay, so History Vault, you think Duarte's going to stop him then? You think he's going to drown him? You think he's going to be too much and stop him? See, you guys are talking me into the late stoppage. That's why I love my chat, dude. That's why I love my channel. I always get I always get the credit when, you know, you guys, after we hit on the parlays and you guys put them up on our channel and put them up in the Discord and send me emails and tag me on Instagram and I share them when you guys are thanking me. But dude, last week and the week before, I forgot who it was. I changed my pick because of one of you guys talked me out of it, and we hit. So it works both ways. I tip my hat. But there you go. So Mama thinks it's Kenny. He thinks Kenny Sims. Roberto Duran in the house. No, Roberto, we haven't covered the undercard yet of Regis versus JoJo. Give us until later in the week, though, because if you're new to the channel, we kind of stay focused because there's a lot of professional gamblers on my channel. We kind of stay focused right in front of us, and we have a lot of fights before we even get to that Regis undercard. But if you have a specific question about a fight on that undercard, ask away. Look, man, if I turn out to be Ron Sims, is that a question? Wow. History Vault with the big take right there. Duarte either wins an 8-11. That's very specific, Gutierrez, Jamie. Duarte either wins an 8-11 TKO or majority decision. What are the... Okay, right now, Oscar... Here's the money line, boys. Oscar Duarte is $1.65. Now, remember, in Australia, they force me to do a three-way bet, meaning that they take into consideration the draw. So their draw changes the odds on both sides. So Duarte is $1.65, meaning 100 on him gets you your money back plus 65 bucks. The draw is 16-1. Sims Jr. is $2.40. 100 on him gets you your money back plus 140 bucks. So Sims Jr. is not quite a 2-1 underdog. And Duarte, I mean, the odds are good on both sides, right? Sims is the underdog here. What's your favorite? All right, let's play pick and choose, all right? What's your favorite Oscar Duarte performance? What's your favorite Kenneth Sims Jr. performance? What's Duarte at his worst? What's Sims Jr. at his worst? So now we're trying to do a deductive reasoning scenario in picking how we see this playing out. It is tough to do because, you know, what have you done for me lately? Sims Jr. at his worst could have been a couple fights before Duarte even being polished. I think this version of Duarte, it's not a shocking statement. The best version of him currently is what we're seeing. Is that in Kenny Sims Jr.? Is it at 147? No, it's not at 147. It's at 140. Yeah, Duarte versus Sims is at 140. It's not at 147. Damn, they both have short arms, too. I was looking at Duarte's reach, 71, and I was about to clown, but Kenny Sims Jr. has a 69-inch reach, allegedly. So we haven't seen... So Kendo Castaneda, Kendo Tremendo, Jonathan Romero. I mean, how much emphasis... Well, I always put Bud Crawford being 5'9" with a 74-inch reach, but Bud has ridiculously long arms, and he started his career at 35. So when I think about... I do outliers, right? We have our gauge. When I think reach, it's like who has a super long reach? Bud at 135, 74-inch reach. These guys are fighting at 40, 70, but Bud has Bud's reach is ridiculous. It's one of those genetic gifts that he was given, and he chose to become a boxer and, you know, use his length. And dude, what a great boxer. How good, dude. It's wild, man. Terrence Crawford is such a joy to watch. As I'm watching his career, one of my favorite fights of Bud Crawford, on a little side tangent, because you guys don't even know how big of a fan I am of Bud Crawford, because I never talk about him, because I never set out to do this to do fans of any fighters. I'm a fan of the sport. But watch the Ricky Burns fight when he was fighting in 135, when he went over and fought Ricky Burns when Ricky was the champion. And then, you know, his fights at 40, his obviously all of his fights leading up to 47 against EJ. Like it was a lot of fun watching the Madrimov fight. People were hating on him for not stopping Madrimov, and this was an undefeated guy with over, I think, 300 amateur fights with one of the most awkward styles in the world at 154 pounds. And I mean, I've watched that fight multiple times. I actually had Bud winning 8-4. People are like, "Oh, Madrimov should have won that fight." I was like, "No, that's not how I saw it." And then look how kind of shaded Madrimov looked against Virgil after it looked against Bud. Johnny, bro, I'm gonna bet the house on a fight to go the distance as soon as it becomes available. Let me know, Carlos Vargas. Sims Jr. only has 8 knockouts, so he's going to pressure knockouts. Not a bad bet. I don't hate it, Wilmer. I don't hate it. Ricardo Velez, stop, mate. Ricardo is back. Dude, did you just see Ricardo Velez? Ricardo, stop doing this. Miguel Cotto is beating Pacquiao if Pacquiao can get past Rawley. Are we really talking about this? You're wild for You want to see it so bad, dude, but I think part of you were trolling me. Part of you, it's kind of like trolling. He's doing like scenario breakdowns of Cotto because I don't want to see Cotto fight anymore, mate. Yeah, exactly. So Sims unanimous. Man, we got some good fights, man. There's some good fights coming up. So how much emphasis are you guys putting into the Miguel Madueño victory? You know what I mean? It really comes in. I think Sims Jr. versus Duarte is more like a 50-50. I don't think either guy should be a favorite. I think it's a 50-50 fight. So I put the parlay up in the Discord. Regis is fighting in 2 weeks against Jojo Diaz. Rougarou. The crazy thing about that fight, Regis versus Jojo, is if Regis wins, he'll probably get another big fight. He might get it. Could you imagine if Regis gets a title shot? You know what's even crazier? Oh, Regis is going to be, come on. I mean, I think Jojo Diaz is just getting a paycheck. Regis might feel like he's still, I mean, 140. Subriel, Hitchens, Teo. Do you see, who am I missing? Do you see Rougarou beating any of those guys? How do I get in the Discord? I'm new, brother. Anthony Alvarez, the link is on my channel. So, Anthony, it's only a couple bucks a month. You sign up on Johnny Says Boxing Insider link. It's on my channel. It says join. And then you'll get access to the Discord with all of the, a lot of good stuff. That Discord's off the hook, mate. Danny Garcia. Yeah, Garcia's done. We watched Danny. And Danny's resume is exceptional. Danny should be a future Hall of Famer. I was a big Swift fan, actually, when you look at who Swift fought. Who am I missing at 40? Matias just beat Puello. Hitchens. Matias just beat Puello. Hitchens, Teofimo. Oh, great question. But ABJ. ABJ is one of my favorite fighters, man. People hate on me for it. I love watching Arnold Barbosa fight. Which prospect is better to you, Mercado? I mean, I would put Tito Mercado more in the... I mean, you'd have to say Tito would probably be like a fringe contender, and Emilio would be a prospect. So I wouldn't even put those two guys in the same category. You don't have... You know what I'm saying? I think Tito's just waiting for, like... He wants either a title fight or a title eliminator. I think he deserves it as well. I think Emilio he's younger. I think he needs more time. I would put Emilio as a prospect. I put Tito as like a contender. Tito thinks he's at the world level. GAR. How dare I miss GAR? That's terrible. He's one of my favorite fighters. So much. There's only so much memory here, mate. Matias versus Cruz. Garcia, Porter, Thurman, Spence. Yeah, we had a good little run there, man. Those are... Damn, just, dude, Sean Porter. I think sometimes when boxers become announcers, people forget their skill set that they had. Sean Porter was fun to watch, man. His arsenal and his pace, how he would fight was insane. Where here the bookies have it wrong. We'll see. We'll get there. I'm going to get to the tape in a second. Xander versus Thurman. Oh, I would take Jermaine Ortiz over Regis. I'm high on Jermaine. I think Regis, I mean, it's not shocking to say, right? Regis, he's older. He's I don't want to say, I hate using the word shot when it comes to fighters. He's on the wrong end of his prime. Jermaine Ortiz, I mean, he's still getting polished. His last fight, too, he added a different gear to his offensive output. He's trying to become more fan-friendly on the offensive side. He's super technical. Jermaine Ortiz, nobody speaks about him. He's a nightmare to deal with as well. You guys should rewatch Jermaine Ortiz versus Teofimo Lopez. That fight was a lot closer. What about AB? Broner, guys, if you don't know, I was born and raised in Ohio, so you're asking me all these Ohio fighters. I'm here for it. Adrian Broner, people forget. I mean, make it for what you will, you know, fighting for vacant world titles, but Adrian Broner is a 4-division world champion. There's not many of those ever who've walked this earth, let alone of all the fighters who made it to the pro level. Dom, we got a new insider, brother. Dom, welcome to the team. He just joined John. He says, Boxing Insider, you have access to the Discord. Dom, you'll get the link sent to you. The Cam Man. Dwayne Styles in the house, leading the way. So, yeah, Adrian Broner, 4-division world champion, you know, just was never the same guy. You know, he's one of those guys that when you think about somebody's career, whether it be good or bad, or controversial, you could go to a specific moment in his trajectory of, you know, obviously how everything happened with Maidana. Paulie Broner was fun. Paulie Broner was fun. You know, my favorite Paulie fight was actually Paulie Miguel Cotto. I always talk about that fight. Nobody always talks about that fight. That fight kind of just goes under the radar. It was on Puerto Rico Day in New York City at Madison Square Garden. It was in the early 2000s. Undefeated, young Paulie Malignaggi. Half the arena was there who were Italian in New York City. The other half was Puerto Rican for Cotto. And it was a fun fight. Cotto jumped out to a huge lead. And Paulie came in, you know, he had a lot of hype around him, but Paulie started winning the middle to late rounds. And, you know, got beat up. His face was damaged, but it was a lot closer than it looked. Trinidad Cotto. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Blair Cobbs now. Yeah, Cotto was one of my favorite guys to watch. Somebody just mentioned Felix Trinidad. That we were just talking about Felix Trinidad versus Oscar De La Hoya. When De La Hoya, it was almost like De La Hoya fought 2 different fights. If you're old enough to remember, I was a junior in high school. I think it was 1999, and it was huge. It was the biggest fight of that time. And De La Hoya jumped out to, I think he was probably a 5-0, maybe 5-0, 6-0, and then he stopped boxing, and Trinidad came on. Trinidad, you know, mid to later rounds, it was like a tale of 2 different fights, and it was weird to see the change in De La Hoya's game plan the second half of that fight. It's always been a head-scratcher to me. But at his best, Oscar De La Hoya is one of the greatest champions ever, too. What was Oscar? Six division world champion, I think? Olympic gold medalist from East Los Angeles? Dude, hand speed, world class. Some of the best hands you'll ever see. Footwork, everything he did. Charisma, the shine that, you know, you talk about. Oscar De La Hoya was insane to watch. This is what they called him Golden Boy. He was the Golden Boy. And it's when you see how he kind of like takes the criticism with a grain of salt, He doesn't take anything ever personal. You could clown him. He makes fun of himself. You know why? Because he was that dude. Whenever you're a bad dude in anything in your career, in your life, successful in anything that you've worked your ass on, you don't have to prove shit to anybody. That is the ultimate sign of somebody who doesn't have anything to prove, is exactly how Oscar carries himself in terms of when people try to make fun of him online. Oscar De La Hoya is that dude. Like, watch his tape, watch him in the amateurs, watch what he meant to East Los Angeles, watch what he meant to America. He was amazing. Yeah, he was amazing. People forget. But, and if you're like a technician, if you somebody who like likes the technique, we got new members in the house. So all the new members, Johnny says Boxing Insider. We got, you'll get the Discord link, so you get access to the Discord. Guys, in that Discord, it's an ongoing chat with all the boys. Chilltown's in there, Muscles is in there, Gary's in there. What broke my heart is, yeah, Vargas, Tito, Trinidad. Man, we had some good, so Pineda, Salvador, you're probably what, 37? You're probably 37 or 38, right? If you were 13 when Tito fought Oscar. Manny, you have to join the Discord. You have to find the link. So Manny, go to my page. So you're 39, I'm 43. So yeah, we're in that same era. So the link to join is on my YouTube channel. It says Johnny Says Boxing Insider. Join that, and then you'll get the link. But there was a comment about a fight coming up. I believe what broke my heart was Trinidad, 39. Yeah. So the chat's become a bit of the Wild West. So I'm going to leave it on. I got about 20 more minutes until I have to train. I got back squats today. I can't wait. I know Dwayne Styles, if he's still in the chat, he's a maniac like myself in terms of, fitness and keeping the body well-oiled machinery. So I have a nice little back squat session, working my way down from my 2-rep range down to a 10-rep. So I'm actually overloading. Guys, we had 49 people in the chat. We've had 70 at its highest. Only 20 of the boys have hit like. I wouldn't ask you these things if it didn't help the channel grow. So if you just like it, you're doing your part, mate. I appreciate you. Trinidad finished first around the 10th. Yeah. Was it that late? Was it that late? Damn, 38-0, 20-0. Tito made $4 million for that fight. Vargas made 2.5. Dude, Vargas was 22 years old. Fernando Vargas was 22 years old when he fought Tito. Isn't that, guys, this is something how right now in this modern era of boxing, I think we've become a little bit more, so he did get rushed. I mean, remember Wilfredo Benitez? Wilfredo Benitez was a world champion at 17. And yeah, boxing used to be known for Russian guys. 22 years old, man. He was fun. Did you guys hear what Emiliano said after his knockout this weekend? Yeah, Emiliano said something that was perfect, in my opinion, about his father. And he was taking backlash for it online. He was asked about his father's career and said, if I could, at the end of the day, if I could have a career as good as my father's was, I would have done my job. And people were like, your dad wasn't that good, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what are you talking about? This isn't about, you guys totally missed the point on what Emiliano was saying there. I did not, dude, he was 22 years old when he fought Tito. Why is that shocking to me? You know why? Because I was young. When they fought, that was 2000. I was 18. So I guess when you're 18 years old, if somebody's older than you when you're 18, they don't seem, how could they seem young? But now at 43, when I think about Tito versus Vargas and how Vargas was 22 fighting basically a 28-year-old in Tito, that is an uphill mountain to climb. Because if you're not in the know, Felix Trinidad was a monster, mate. Felix Trinidad, his left hook, dude. Oh my God. Felix Trinidad could crack. Yeah, they both could. But I mean, when you're talking about a left hook, people talk about Ryan Garcia's. People talk about Ryan Garcia's left hook. It's so weird, this version of where we are with social media. But if you even say Ryan Garcia's left hook in some circles isn't that good, people call you a hater. I'm like, bro, his left hook is all right. I mean, it's not technical. It's not textbook. Look at Tito Trinidad. Look at Felix's left hook. Shit, look at Joe Frazier. Frazier had a hook, boy. Frazier was 5'11", 190. Maybe two. They said he was 205. I think Frazier was more like 190 fighting at heavyweight. Or what was he? Maybe he was 230. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. Frazier wasn't the biggest of heavyweights, but he had explosive kryptonite in his hooks. Dude, these guys were... Damn, that was a fun era. Chivo, money line. The Japan fights. The parlay I gave the public is the 3 favorites I got for the Japanese card, if that's what you're asking. For the Australia card, if you're getting those odds, I like the favorite at cruiserweight. And then if you could get... So the Australia card, Floyd Mason, money line, and then Callum Peters by stoppage. It's $1.81. Alvarez found it. Great icon, too. My man got the... that is... What's his name? Fucking... With the afro. UFC loved that little dude. So, to answer your question, Japan, I got Teraji, I got Higa, I got Takami, Hezbollah. Yeah. Takami, Higa, Teraji. I gave you guys, those breakdowns are on my channel. If you're new to the channel, go to playlists, fight predictions, stats don't lie. If you guys just joined Johnny Says Boxing Insider, first and foremost, I say thank you. Secondly, get the link to the Discord. It's on my YouTube channel. So that link to the Discord is only opens up for you guys. There's an extra section, community posts. You'll see it on the channel. If you can't find it, just comment and I'll send you the link. That Discord group, we have it separated in boxing, MMA, and parlays. And there's professional bettors in there. A lot of you boys, there's crossovers with me and Gary from 3D. Some of the boys from Punch Perfect are in there. And the best part about that is we started it 2 weeks ago, and it's growing in a good way. And you guys don't really need me to mediate it. It's an ongoing chat. Skeezy, if you're still on this live stream, Skeezy said something you wanted. What did you want in the Discord? And be patient with me as well, because I'm still learning how to use Discord. Because I think it was Carlos or one of you boys in the Discord asked me to set up a separate channel to where I'm the only one who's able to post my parlays. I still got to figure out how to do that. It should be simple, but I'm an old head, mate. I was born in the early 80s. We don't really pick up technology like you young bucks do. You know, so I just started live streaming a couple months ago. But anyway, we're approaching an hour, guys. I'm uploading tomorrow Kenny Sims Jr. versus Duarte, my prediction. I'm going live on Gary from 3D Boxing's channel tomorrow with Chilltown Boxing. There you go. Some listener videos. Shadow boxing, hitting pads, bag work. What do you mean? Some listener videos. Skeezy, aren't you able to post in there? But I think... So maybe I'll put a different section because the boxing section are just all the gamblers. So... Are you saying start a separate channel for, like, the training stuff? Because I could do a training channel. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, GOAT, as well, because I haven't done a live yet with TJ, but I've talked to him on voice memo. He's been emailing me since probably March. And, you know, talking to somebody on a live stream and kind of sort of riffing off of them is you get to know them a bit more. And, you know, The dude's he knows his boxing, man. It's cool to find even like people on this chat. You know, people there's a small group of us. When you think about how big the world is, there's really only a small group of us who actually care and know about boxing. And then you take that and then you add in the elements of, you know, making money off of it. It's a cool thing. But remember, boys, I can't stay too much longer. Yeah, Skeezy. All right, I'll do that. Because, you know, we're gym heads. There's a lot of athletes. Goat posted a video of him hitting the bag, but it got lost in the shuffle. Okay. So guys, since we're here real quick, I could start different channels within our channel. Is that what they're called, channels? So like, or threads? So like how right now it's segmented under boxing, MMA, and parlays. Are those called channels or threads? Because somebody was asking me to start a new channel for my parlays. I'm like, I don't want to start a whole new punk ass Discord channel. But is that within the one we already have? I just need that clarified, and then I'm good to go. But stay tuned. Like I said, we got some live streams coming up. This is the second live of the day. Okay, so they're called channels. So you could have like, so we can have as many channels as we want. Also a channel for your bets only, so they won't get lost in the mix. Okay. And then I assume they're privacy settings, so I could create a channel and not let anyone post other than me. Well, you guys are growing this, mate. Wilmer, could you do that? Melvin Martin, upgrade. Appreciate you, brother. Those are channels. Keep it simulated. Don't have too many. It's enough. Maybe add one for everyone to post random training video. All right, because I have bet slips already. I have boxing. I have MMA. Okay. You guys are beasts, man. You guys, like, we started the Discord because everyone was asking. Chivo up high. The link is on my YouTube channel. Wilmer, hit me up on Instagram. Guys, if you want to follow me on Instagram, follow me at Johnny Stofko. I follow you right back. And then I know I have a bunch of chats on there as well. But they're, you know, sometimes it's easier to get a hold of me there because you can't get the link. Anthony, I'll tag you in it. So Anthony Alvarez. Sal, appreciate you. So boys, we just had about 5 new VIP members join on this live stream. I'm going to cut this live stream off now. Go to my YouTube channel in 5 minutes for all the new insiders. And I'm going to update our Discord link because the link expires. So I'm going to do that right now. I'll see you boys in the Discord. Follow me on Insta. Stay tuned. We got a busy week, boys. Japan, Australia. We got a punk-ass card in Long Beach. Dude, Gabriel Rosado was fighting this weekend. What the hell? Like, come on.